Can I be real or is it boring? To give you a peace of mind, cause mine is so enormous. Way past the norm, Norman. While you're
What up, though? It's that nigga Mob, man. This is another one of the episodes of Who Was Not the Villain. And Jenny. This name here, man. Jenny, dog, growing up, I hated Jenny. Being a kid, not understanding trauma and shit like that. I hated Jenny. Now as an adult, I see this a lot. A lot of women going through trauma and they make dumbass decisions throughout life and, searching for something. I don't know what exactly. I'm not a woman, but when I was young and I seen Forrest Gump, I'm like, man, why the fuck she keep looking? Man, this shit don't make no sense, man. What do you want? Now I'm older, I look back and I see her daddy, I understand her daddy touching her and shit. And he ended up getting locked up. She wasn't in a much better spot because she was scared. I don't know if her granny was beating her, but it's sort of implied in the movie because she was scared and she would go over, sneak out and go over Forrest's crib, and that's where she found that she was scared and it was safe. So it's a scene in the movie where she go to sleep there, like later in the movie, after a long time of, dodging him. And the thing was, this where I come to the realization that she's not the villain because she was, obviously, the kid shit when she was a kid. Then also, she had a fear of fucking up Forrest's life, probably in the back of her head. You know what I'm saying? Like, she felt like she wasn't good enough for what life had to offer. And it's a lesson for a lot of women out there. Like, y'all don't have to be searching for something. Y'all gotta look inside yourself and love yourself. I just, when I was younger, my mindset was this: why the fuck Jenny keep fucking leaving this nigga? Then when she about to die, now all of a sudden she wants to, marry the dude. Then I'm looking like, why the fuck Forrest pursuing her this tough and shit, and she doing this dumb shit? She out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like we say, like she for the streets and shit. And she was for the streets. She was out there moving, right? And Forrest, this whole time, he risking his life. He succeeding in life in general, just achieving anything that he put his mind to. And throughout everything, he's only thinking about Jenny. Jenny also is not the villain because she was the person when they was a kid to tell him to run, right? He ran and he broke free from being disabled. He was disabled at first. Remember, he had polio or some shit. And he was able to run. Later on in life, rock still getting thrown at him. Nigga tried him with the car, told him to run. That shit got him a scholarship. The whole time she running in her own type of way. He's running, because of what she told him, and she's running because she's running away from their trauma and shit, right? So, with her telling him to run, the last time when she hopped in the car and he went over into Vietnam and shit, she told him to run. When they told him to run, she came back to mind and he ran. He survived. Rest in peace, Bubba. You know what I'm saying? So her trauma helped him in a way because she kept telling him to run throughout the movie. Every time he ran, something good came from it. Whether it was when she did eventually come back and he hit her and, she left, she ran away, and all he could think about was what the last things, the shit she told him majority of the time, run. So he ran for 3 years. He come back, da-da-da, and see his son. So she wasn't a villain. Then the people that be like, oh, well, why she ain't contact him? Because he was running, nigga. It was based on the early 90s, late 80s type of scene. So, of course, you not getting in contact with nobody, nigga, unless it's mail or phone. And cell phones wasn't like huge back then to where everybody had a fucking cell phone. So yeah, she couldn't get in contact with him. So she wasn't a villain. But as a kid, like I said, looking at that shit, I'm like, damn, this bitch is stupid. You know what I'm saying? And obviously she was making a lot of fucking dumb decisions. And even with Forrest being quote unquote on the spectrum or slow, he could have still guided her in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, most of us are Forrest Gump, and a lot of women out here are Jennies. You know, me meaning Forrest, you kind-hearted, you try to do what's right all the time, you work hard, and you succeed, you achieve shit in life. But the Jennies out here, you like, damn, you know, you still gotta have that positive mindset like Forrest, because it worked out for him, but it still ended sadly because it was short-lived, their marriage, because she chose to finally see the grass was greener on the other side. You know what I'm saying? With him, but it was too late. It was too late. So, with that being said, let that be really a life lesson for all y'all. Like, as far as the men out here, continue striving to be the best that you know, being the best you can be. Because throughout this whole thing, Forrest never tried to stop her from doing her. He never did. Forrest never was like, Jenny, don't go. He ain't do none of that shit. Jenny, wherever the fuck Jenny went. He went on his own solo path. He ain't give a fuck about he ain't give a fuck about what Jenny was doing. He wandered, but at the end of the day, he still had to focus on what he had to do. So let that really be a life lesson to you. And for those of you niggas that's gonna jump in the comment like she was the villain. She was not the villain. The real villain of this whole movie was her dad, man. Like, shit. In each president, that was the real villains of this movie. Cause every fucking few scenes, a president getting shot, nigga. no, not the presidents, but the niggas who shooting the presidents. Those the real villains of the movie. But like, it wasn't really too many villains. Like, yeah, people treated Forrest stupid. But damn, that's another motherfucking thing right there. But I don't want to end this on a negative note. But just hear what I'm saying though. No matter, this how these hoes is, bro. No matter how much you succeed, they don't see you. You know what I'm saying? And cause Jenny, she was just not seeing him. You know, when like the scene, he was like, "I love you." She was like, "You don't know what love is." How the fuck you gonna tell somebody they don't know what love is? So, you know, she wasn't a villain. She herself didn't know what love is. She couldn't identify on loving herself. So until the child was born, more than likely that's where it came. Like, I gotta love myself, and you see how well she raised young Forrest. So with that being said, she wasn't a villain. Like and subscribe so we hit that 100K today. Stay peaceful, productive, and positive. It's that nigga Mom, and much love.
Shall I be real or is it boring? To give you a peace of mind, cause mine is so enormous. Way past the norm, Norman, while you're conforming. Like comforting mattresses that comfort them with torment snoring. Like you in your own home with a home phone. I'm on like E.T., got a phone home past the moon. It's not a movie, I'm about to fly past it soon. Spiritually, I roam alone.